Hi, I'm Rain,
And I'm Sophia.
and this is BLteatime, where we talk about all things BL and all that tea.
So this episode is going to be our spooky Halloween special episode where we talk about
Ooh.
all the spooky uh BLs that we've read, and it's like
Mm.
some of them are like actually scary thrillers, and then some of them are just based around like the normal like spooky ghouls, I guess, so like vampires and stuff, vampires and ghosts.
A lot of vampires. They love
Definitely
vampires.
definitely a lot of vampires. I wanted to
Vampires are very popular.
They are. And then I wanted to put some werewolf stuff, but I could not. I don't have like a story with werewolves in them.
Yeah, that was my that was my issue too. It's like I was reading one story, and it was like one of those things where it's like they turn into wolves, but it
Mhm.
didn't really follow werewolf lore.
Mhm.
I was like, it don't really feel right, so I didn't
Yeah.
add it.
Mhm. And like the one I was thinking of, I can't remember the name of it now. The guy never actually ever turns into a wolf. He only I think the best that he does is like the ears and tail,
Mm.
and then like that's it. So it's just like
Yeah, there's not a lot of
mm,
werewolf stuff. Yeah, we a lot of them are like either they are like a thriller or just like psychological or something, or it's just vampires and it's a good time. So,
mhm. All right. So the first one I want to talk about, this one's the shortest on my list. It's called Not for the Faint of Heart. This one's going to be more towards like the whole ghosty thing. So I had to get the summaries from the official websites because I just wanted to make sure that I was saying everything this time around to give you like a good summary. And they sell it a lot better than I could.
yeah,
All right. And then once again, forgive us for any bad pronunciations.
yeah.
We're trying harder and harder every time, but
It's just when you don't speak the language and you're not around people who speak the language, it's very hard to pick up on it.
Mhm.
It's like in my head, I'm saying it perfectly, but when it comes to saying it, I'm just like,
Like,
oh,
uh,
oh.
all right. So Faint of Heart is about Joe Ju Sungwon, and he is working as a fake ghost in order to pay back for a broken laptop. But instead of scaring customers, Sungwon is the one being scared. Even worse, there's an actual ghost living in the haunted house. With his job on the line, Sungwon ends up in a dating contract with the ghost. In exchange for the ghost scaring visitors, Sungwon must give him 3 wishes and be his boyfriend.
Oof, oof. That sounds interesting.
So this
By
one
the
is
way, oh sorry. By the way, I've read like almost none of her stories. She's read like some of my stories,
Mhm.
so we're all hearing this for the first time.
It's all something new.
It's new for both of us.
Hmm. Okay, so this one is like I said, it's the shortest one of the ones that I'm recommending for spooky season. It only has 12 chapters, so it's a really short story.
Hmm.
The two characters we have Sungwon, who's the main character, and he's just like this guy that he gets scared of like everything. So
Hmm.
for him to try to like get a job into scaring people, that's it. Just like was not working out.
That's funny. I was in a haunted house once, and I was like, that sounds like me. I'm terrified of everything, and they had me sit behind a barn where there was holes to grab people's feet, and the whole time I was terrified that something was gonna grab me.
It's
So I
like
had
I work here, but I'm scared.
but I'm
Yeah, no.
terrified.
I'm the same way. I could like well, my thing is I like horror, I like gore and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And the thing is I've been in a haunted house once my whole life, and I got really tired of being scared, so I just didn't get scared. But like I couldn't imagine actually working in one. Like
Yeah,
I feel like the people would be scaring me more
exactly.
than me scaring
Exactly.
them.
So I relate to this character already.
He's a big he's one of those like think of like Johan from Sign. He's just a big softie is what he is.
Mm,
He's like the black-haired guy with glasses. And
just
then
trying to get by.
just trying to make a living. And then we have Jae Young, who is the ghost of the story. Um so I know last time when something that we should have probably that done is made sure to be like, oh, spoiler warning, spoilers ahead.
Spoilers. Okay.
Um so this one is I don't wanna say it's, like, actually really scary, it's, like, an actual romance, but, Jae Young, he is a ghost, but he's not
Mhm.
actually dead.
Okay.
He's just in a coma.
Oh.
So that's as much as like spoiler wise, that's the most I could tell you because it's been a hot minute since I had read this one. This was one of like the first stories that I had actually read
Mhm.
when I was getting into webtoons.
Yeah.
I do remember, I'm pretty sure it made me cry, but I can't remember why. So I can't really tell you what
That's
really.
perfect. That's perfect. That means it's time to reread it.
Exactly, like, I really did wanna go reread it, but I was like, "I'm busy with school stuff." Um, but it's really, like I know it's supposed to be spooky, but it's really, like, cute, heartwarming, um, but it fits the spooky vibe with the whole, like, ghost
I mean, ghosts, spooky, scary,
skeletons.
skeletons. We're trying.
Yeah, that's my first recommendation for the spooky boys.
It's complete.
It is complete,
All
yes.
right.
So if you're not satisfied with the ending, I'm sorry, that's all there's ever been.
All right.
Maybe that's the scariest part of it.
Is that it? Is that it's over? So, a story I've been reading. I've read it a while ago when it first dropped, and it's still updating very slowly, but surely it's updating. It's called Zombie Hide Sex,
Mhm.
which is zombies. We love
Yeah,
zombies.
I read this one when it first came out too because it was on the trending page.
hmm
And I like a good zombie story. So
So this story, let me make sure I'm getting it correctly.
Mhm.
Out of nowhere, there's a zombie apocalypse that appears only in Japan for some reason. They never
Oh.
really. I don't know why we ain't got to why it's only in Japan, but it's only in
Only in
Japan.
Japan.
A simple store clerk ends up running away, and he ends up basically the boss is like, "Oh, we'll stay safe in like the freezers in the back," and then the boss is like, I'm a go get us some food," and then he never comes back.
Yeah,
So,
negative on that part. I feel like
uh,
I'm going home.
what's his name? Mish. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Mishabi. Mishabi.
Mishaba?
Or maybe. I don't know. He's the store clerk. So he's finally like, all right, my phone's dead. Uh I don't know what's going on. Let me try to get out. He gets out, immediately is attacked by a zombie. And that's where we meet, and hold on for this name. Chi nope, can't say it.
Chigasaki.
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 Chigasaki. And he is our savior. And this one's a very smutty one. If you like smut,
Yes,
what
I can
happens
attest.
next? Um, he's like, what's the most PG way of me saying this on here? Um, he's essentially like, uh, it's been a long time, and just doing it myself ain't kicking it. And the other guy's like, okay, I guess you did save me.
You did
So
save my life, so I guess I could repay you.
I guess. So like they're trying to get to um basically like this specific hospital in Japan. They heard it's a safe spot. They're trying to get to it because apparently they have the answers. So you see them like going through all this,
Normal zombie
fighting.
fairy stuff.
Yeah, normal zombie movie stuff. They're, finding a car, trying to stay in these shitty hotels that they find, killing zombies. You get some backstory.
Hmm,
The Chigasaki
Chigasaki. Mhm.
Chigasaki, he had to like kill off his whole squad because they all became vampires.
Ooh, oh,
And
vampires?
I mean, oops, sorry, mixing up my stories. He had to kill them all off because they became zombies. And he's just, I love him. He's very attractive.
Oh, yes.
Uh, I just like this story. It's very smutty. If you're looking
Mhm,
for a good smutty, scary story, because like the zombie stuff is hit or miss with me. It's either a little too foolish or it's actually pretty scary. This
mhm.
one's actually kind of spooky. Like I was like, oh no,
Oh, yeah, the zombies are ugly looking in this one.
they're like after them. And then spoiler alert, I'll put that in there. Um they both get bit at different like at some point.
No! Okay, I wasn't that far into it.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Well, no, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, because now I definitely wanna read it to get to that part.
But they have like they got to the place that they were trying to get to, and they're trying to develop a cure.
That's
So
good.
they apparently have some kind of cure, and we're trying to see, like, I think where we are now is to see if this cure is long lasting.
Mhm.
So
'Cause
yeah,
see,
that's where we are.
from what I feel like I think from my memory, I think when I had started reading it, there was
Hmm.
only around 5 chapters out,
Hmm.
and
It's
I
at 13 now,
13 chapters. Okay, that's
and they're pretty
definitely
long.
more.
They're pretty long
Yeah, they
chapters.
are long. Was he already Chigasaki, was he already bitten from, like, the start, or did it
No,
happen a
no,
little later
it
on?
happened like right before they got to the safe place.
Okay.
Like they had like fought some zombies and whatnot,
Mhm.
and he hit it pretty well because I was like, because I guess the way that their zombies hit, it reacts to you very slowly.
Mhm.
So he was like kind of losing it, but then he would like come back and be like, no, 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 I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm fine. Like,
Oh.
because like I said, it starts off very smutty, and yes, it started off with him just being like, "Oh, can you want to help me out
Yeah,
here?"
to start at the
But
very
then there's
beginning.
actually they actually start catching feelings for each other.
Yeah.
So at that point, Misha B, sorry again, he gets very emotional because he's just like, the love of my life is. Do we have to put him down? Like, no.
Do we have to
Like,
euthanize him?
literally, his parents are dead, his friends are
Yeah,
dead.
like,
Most
everyone's
of Japan is dead, or zombies, which is still dead, living dead.
Mhm.
Um,
Maybe he could pull, like, a Shaun of the Dead moment where he just puts Chi Chigasaki on a leash and, like,
I
keep
mean,
him in the basement and then,
it
like,
really,
go visit him.
just get your basement zombie boyfriend,
That could
have
be a
him around.
spinoff.
That's an interesting spinoff. If the cure isn't long lasting, bam,
I can
that's a
I when you just have that feeling where it's just gonna end sad.
my zombie boyfriend on a leash. I'd read that.
I was just gonna say just in general, like, it's just gonna end up really sad where they think they have the cure, and then it's just like,
I kind of feel like, did you ever watch The Mist? I think,
is
where
it
like it's about this movie. It's this movie where um basically like this very uh
is it a
strong mist
Korean
comes
movie?
through. No, 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 this American. It came on like sci-fi, so it's not the greatest scary movie. Essen- the plot has nothing to do with it, but the ending does. The
Mhm.
end, I feel like this is my how it ends, and it makes me sad. But the ending is they literally like kill all these people, and like 5 seconds later, the US Army shows up and saves all of them. Like, they sacrificed a bunch of people. And I
Mhm.
was like, please don't be like that thing where it's like they kill
Yeah,
one of our boys,
and then just the
and then
other
they have
ones
a cure,
rescue, like, really, yeah, like,
and then they just invent a cure, and then everything's fine. It's just like, y'all could have did this
it's like I have
5
so
minutes
many
before.
headcanons right now. It's like they're both kinda, like, turning, and then, like, the US force comes, and he's like, "I have to protect him," so that he goes, like, full zombie mode, so they'll kill him and then save the other guy.
Exactly, and it's
It's
just like, it's one of those stories where, like, it could go either way at the end. I'm here
Mhm.
for it's some good smut, good good smut.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones where it's good smut, but it's also a good story. Like,
Mhm.
you actually get invested in it. So like I just hope that ending doesn't end like it's like that movie I was just
Well,
saying, because I'm
sometimes they
like,
just like to play around where they'll give you a shitty ending, but then at the end they reincarnate and then they're like, "Oh, we met in another life where zombies weren't a thing."
or like the zombie thing didn't work out and everybody turned into
Or
zombies and everything is
somebody wakes
bad.
up from a bad dream and then he actually took a nap at the back of the counter, wakes up in the store, and
Yeah,
then
he
the
was
guy comes walking in and he's like, "Can I get me a pack of cigarettes?"
he was just asleep at work the whole time. Oh
And
no.
then the guy's the one that wakes him up at the counter
Those kind of endings honestly make me mad though. So something about it was all a dream
because they just teased you the whole way and
the
destroyed you just to
whole
be like,
time.
and they don't even know each other yet. It was all just a dream.
No, because in that aspect, what if he just woke up some random guy sleeping at the counter? They could not. What about this beautiful love story that we've
But
created?
see, but now he'll be like, "I've seen you before. We have to talk." It'll be one of those I have just so
Excuse
many
me,
head
excuse me,
he goes walking down, he's like, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me. Can I have
excuse
your
me.
number?" And then it's just
And
like
then that's a whole nother story. I'm there for that. Okay.
I'm saying, I just headcanons. I love thinking how these things could actually end because there's with BLs, there's so many different ways that they could end it.
Like,
Um,
there's a lot of cliches, but then we've been getting like a lot of people like breaking the cliche and like
and it's a
now
hard
I now
pill to
now I don't
swallow.
know where to look. I
No,
can't even predict the endings anymore.
I can't because I'll think it's a happy ending, and then the next thing something just terrible happens, and
Sad.
it's like, where's the cliches?
Those ones that aren't tragedy into the last chapter.
Oh my god, I actually had cancer the entire time. I'm
And
going to
oh,
die now.
the one I always bring up where it was so happy and he walked into the street.
The crosswalk we talked
The
about.
the
That's
crosswalk
the
cliche.
spooky.
That
That's
should
the
be in
spooky
here, the
story.
spookiest.
The crosswalk cliche, the crosswalk killer. You can't walk across the street in these stories and expect to be alive.
No, you're not gonna come out in the end.
All right. I definitely want to catch up to that one now.
It's really good. I really highly recommend it. Like I said, it's only 13 and it's ongoing. It's just it updates very slowly. I heard that we probably won't get an update for like a month or two.
Yeah, that's normally how regular manga is.
Yeah.
Updates will be taking a lot longer, but at least every time they come out, they're like actual like long
Yeah, they're very long.
chapters. They
They're
make it worth it.
it's a good amount of the chapter for my weight.
Mhm.
And sometimes it comes out like one or two chapters, so you can't be too
Mhm. Can't be that upset. All right, so the next one is going to be one of my vampire stories. I recently found this one on Lezen. It's called Dine with a Vampire.
hmm
Let me read their beautiful summary. It's actually this one's really sad. This one I made sure to put trigger warnings on the ones that I know have very triggering materials. This one's very triggering with like a relationship abuse and
hmm
a sexual assault. So just this one I would say be mindful before going to read it because sometimes you have like the BL vampire stories where it's just kind of like, nothing really happens.
Yeah.
Someone's just a vampire in the story.
Yeah.
Okay, but this one is caught in the clutches of an abusive relationship. Suin longs to escape. A vampire who finds human blood repulsive, Chi only drinks the blood of other vampires. When chance brings the two together, Chi makes Suin an incite what is this word? Enticing.
Enticing.
Enticing proposal. Chi will help Suin get out of his living hell, and in exchange, Suin has to let Chi drink his blood. And then it's will this proposal be the best for both of them?
Mhm.
So this one is the first season just finished, but
Mhm.
that's in the raws. I would read the translation. As of right now, it's at 23 chapters for the translation.
Mhm.
So it's still technically not complete. Uh,
Yeah.
but just know that the season has ended. We're just waiting for the translation to catch up. All right. So yeah, this one's only 23 chapters. It's not completed yet. And like I said before, it has I put trigger warnings on it because it does have trigger material.
Mhm.
So our characters in these are the three main ones of the story. We have Suin, who's the main character. He's the one that's being abused by the walking trash can called Sungha.
The walking trash can.
Sungha. I have many BL manhwa characters that I despise.
Mhm.
He's hit the number one spot. He's an
Okay.
awful, terrible person. This is where the spoiler warnings will come in because I'm gonna get more into the story. But
Mhm.
Sunghwa and Suin were like childhood friends, and they were really good friends in high school. And
Mhm.
Sunghwa found out that Suin was gay. So
Ooh.
tell me why he starts beating him up every day. And there's a lot of homophobic slurs, calls him
Mhm.
a homophobic slur, beats him up. But yet so Suin thought, I'm going to college. I don't have to see him anymore.
Yeah.
He makes them move in together because he talks to his mom, and Suin's like he doesn't tell anyone that Sunghwa is like beating him up and being like
Mhm.
ridiculous. And then Sunghwa starts like sexually assaulting him and like abusing him. They're just in this abusive relationship, and it's really
Yeah.
sad because Suin is just like he is this empty shell of a person.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just so it's one of those stories where you're like, why haven't you killed him? Like, why haven't you gotten rid of him? He's such a
He's
piece of
yeah.
trash. And the thing is, Suwon's not even like he he can't even pretend to like him anymore. Like, he can't
Yeah.
even like fathom liking him anymore.
Yeah, some of them are like that where it's just like I guess they have like that one thing and they're like, "No, I can't leave them because of this." But then sometimes you're just like there's nothing left.
And the thing is,
They've
yeah,
destroyed every kind of relationship that they had.
anything. And the thing is, Song Kwan had like a girlfriend too at the time. It's
Hmm.
just he's a terrible,
It's
terrible
a
person.
typical homophobic yet in the closet.
Yes, like he's like doing all these things to poor Suin, and like I felt so bad for Suin. I was like, somebody come save this boy. And then that's when the vampire Chi comes in.
Mhm.
Mwah. He is They meet at, Suwon's job because, Chi is the one that owns the company. I think he's
Mhm.
the boss, and, like, in the summary, he doesn't like human blood, he thinks it smells disgusting, and he thinks it tastes nasty, so he'll normally drink from other vampires, which that
Oh.
brings in a side character that I'm not gonna talk about because I don't remember his name. I also just he just got introduced, so it's kinda like,
Mm.
when and I don't wanna go into that because it's not in the translations yet,
Yeah.
along with, like, a lot of, like, twists and turns that are gonna be happening later on in the story.
Yeah.
So Chi meets Suin and he's like, "Why doesn't his blood stink? Why does it actually smell,
Smells like roses and lavenders
enticing?"
and happiness. Like what's going on
Yeah.
here?
And, Suin is still in this, like, state of, like, no one he Suin is, like, he's so convinced that there's nobody that can help him, there's nowhere he can go,
Mhm.
um, because he has no friends.
Mhm.
His family thinks Seonghwa is this, like,
They
amazing
think yeah.
guy.
Mhm.
So, Chuhwan, he's just like, "Oh my god, his blood doesn't smell like trash. I need this boy in my life."
Mhm.
So, he gives him this proposal, which is, more spoilers ahead. He was like, "What can I do for me to be able to drink your blood?" And
Mhm.
Suwon's like, "Kill Seonghwa." And I thought he was joking.
Oh,
I thought he was actually joking, but he was dead serious. He's like,
like dead ass.
dead ass. He's like
Cut the cameras, dead ass.
he's like, "Kill him and you can literally have me as a person. Like, you have to do nothing else to please me as a person.
Okay.
Kill Sunghwa and I'm all yours." And it's really sweet because, Chi-won, he didn't actually have to do this, and I feel like any other vampire story wouldn't have made him do this. He has, like, this ability to, like, heal his bruises and heal all, like, the marks and
Mhm.
everything, and just make him, like, just not be hurting anymore.
Okay.
So it's really sweet, and so that yeah, he actually kills Seonghwa,
A silent clap. Silent clap.
kills
Golf
Seonghwa,
caps.
and then now we're going into, like, the whole, like, Suin having to he, like, almost instantly, he's just, like, in love with Chuhwan because he took away the one thing that was
Mhm.
ruining his life.
Mhm.
So it's, like, a nice little breather, and it's, like, now they're, like, living with each other, and Chuhwan's giving him all these things, he's feeding him,
Okay. Okay.
bathing
Okay.
him. He's making sure he's nice and warm, he got him new clothes, it's so nice, and but my thing is, like, you could see that Suin is still he's very traumatized, obviously, from everything that just happened.
Mhm.
He's rushing into this relationship a little bit too quickly
Yeah.
because, like I said, he just but yeah, this one, like I said, it only has, so far 23 chapters with the
Mhm.
translated version, um
And is the 23 the complete or we still have to wait?
I believe with the Raws, I think there's like 10 more chapters in the Raws, so it's still gonna be a little bit before it's complete with the English.
Mhm.
Um, but I wish I could remember what day it updates, but I'm almost 100% positive it's a weekly update type thing.
Okay.
So, definitely is a great story. It's going great places. In terms of spooky, it's just more sad and
I feel
psychological.
like the spook is the real life spook more than like the vampire
The
aspect.
homophobia is the real
Ugh,
spooky part of it.
that's the real scary part.
The scary part is just being alone and not
The
having
scary part
anyone
is
to
how
share.
realistic it is.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's mine.
Alright, so for me, we have another vampire one. It is called I'm Yours, Blood and Soul.
I've seen this recommended a lot, and I've seen it on the trending page, and I want to read it.
It's very short, it's only 24
Oh, it's
chapters.
complete?
Yeah, it's completed.
Oh, period. I'm gonna read it
Period.
tonight.
It's completed and it's pretty short, 24 chapters. Um it is it is about a demon and a vampire,
Hmm.
and they have a steamy night, and basically both of them like to go out, hook out with men and either suck their blood or eat them at the end. And then they get to like, finishing up on their sexual behaviors. And then they go to eat each other, and the vampire shows his wings and is like, and then the demon, like, I guess he
Oh.
has teeth come out,
Mhm.
and he's about to eat him, and they both look at each other just like, "You're a demon," and he's like, "You're a vampire." Like
Yeah, like, they
it's a
can't do
realm
anything
where
to each other.
creatures know about each other, so they're
Mhm.
just like, "Oh, you're a creature too. All right."
Okay, so they went in thinking they were, like, s
Yeah, they
like normal humans, they didn't know that
yeah.
they oh, okay, 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 okay.
So they went into that because they were about to, like, get their meal essentially after some a night of steaminess, and then the demon for some reason has his own blood, and if you drink his blood, he can only eat from you. And the vampire didn't know that, and he saw this little container and he thought it was like a bottle of wine, and he drank it. He was like, "Oh,
Oh.
this is weird. What is this?" And then the demon, he essentially, like, he gets a tattoo, like it shows up on his body, like you're marked, like
Mhm.
you can't essentially eat from anybody else until that person dies.
Oh, so
And
they're
a
in it
vampire just drank his
forever.
blood. Because usually a human would drink it and then die, and then he can move on. But a vampire drank it, who essentially, unless you got a wooden stake, he's not dying. So
So
he's
they're
like,
in it forever.
so then they have to like come up with this convoluted relationship of like, you know, um, you got to stick around me because you're the only one who can feed me, and all this other stuff. And then they develop a romance, and it's very romancy. You kind of forget that they are creatures
Mhm.
because it's mostly romance, but it's a very funny one. Nothing too heartbreaking in it. A good short read, honestly.
Okay.
Like it's so short because I thought there was gonna be more to it, but like the ending makes sense. Like it's like
It's a good ending, like,
mhm,
a satisfying ending. I've
a
been reading
satisfying ending.
a lot of them that their endings are not satisfying,
They're
and
not hitting. They're
what?
not hitting. But yeah, this one, like I said, it's just so funny. Just especially like the initial shock that they both have.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you're a vampire?
Like, "Oh,
Like,
so you're not a human, so what are we doing?"
what was the point of all of
Mm, you
that?
didn't sense it or
Exactly. That's why I was like, could you not sense other kind of creatures? Like, there's no pheromones, no kind of
like, just, "This is not a human," like, you know?
anything. Like maybe the heartbeat. He later in the story, he's like, oh, your skin's cold. I'm like, every vampire, everybody vampire story, there's always like, oh, your skin is so cold. That
He
didn't click in your head. Hey,
he's a
maybe I
little
should
chilly tonight.
ask.
He's a little chilly tonight.
He runs -30. We just don't ask about it, He's as cold as ice for no reason.
Just
But yeah, it's a short one. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Go read
okay.
it.
I definitely will, especially since it's so short.
hmm
Alright. So, this one is the last vampire one I'll be talking about for today.
They're all vampires.
All vampires all the time. So, this one's called Raising a Bat. Now, this one is also along with, Not for the Faint of Heart, one of, like, the first stories that I read,
hmm
when I started getting into manhwas and webtoons and stuff like that. Um, so this one, the names are a little bit harder for me to pronounce, but I'm trying my best.
hmm
So Parkman Guillaume is a human with a disease called, I don't want to pronounce this disease, but I'm going to try because it's so relevant to the story. It would be kind of like childish of me not to say it.
Go for
It's
it.
called hemochromatosis.
That sounds right.
Hemochromatosis. Okay. So basically, that is where his blood has too much iron.
Mhm.
So if he doesn't want to feel sick, he actually has to donate blood.
I've read this. I've read this. Oh my god, one that we've read together.
Mhm.
Yay!
Finally.
I remember this one. As you were saying it, I was like, "This sounds familiar.
Mhm.
This
I
sounds
feel
very
like
familiar."
I recommended it to you, but I can't remember if I actually did.
I
'Cause
feel like you did. I wanna say you did.
okay. So yeah, then he meets Kim Chu Sam.
Mhm.
Let's call him Sam.
We'll call him Sam.
And he is a half vampire, but he still needs blood to live. Um,
Mhm.
and so it begins their predator prey relationship. Like I
Mhm.
need, like you kind of need me to suck your blood out, and then I need you because you're feeding me.
Exactly.
Which is
Yeah.
just to me a very perfect relationship, and
I mean,
that's
that
where
just
it should
works
have
out.
ended. And that's where it should have been, just that relationship.
Mhm.
So this one was one of the longer ones. It's 58 episodes. It is complete though. I did
Mhm.
have to put trigger warnings because there is child abuse, relationship abuse, and then there is self-harm in it as well.
Mhm.
Um so it's something that I didn't expect to be in the story when I had first got into it. Definitely a shock to me.
Mhm.
But it really should have ended with them just having this predator prey comedy relationship, not like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, you've seen it. It's really dark. What is it? Sungwan's dad is this abusive asshole who was only using Sunghwa. Like he hated Sunghwa. First of all, like, just hated him. He was like,
Mhm.
"Hate my son." As soon as he found out he could do all this shit with his blood,
Yeah.
he
S
still didn't like
s
him.
Yeah, but suddenly he's of value.
Yeah, suddenly he's now a valuable person to his dad for all this
Mhm.
stuff. So it's really sad to see him go through that. Uh, but then with Sam, he's more of like his mom's a human, his dad's a vampire. He's a half breed, and but my thing is, I was a little surprised that he was a half breed because normally some of the ones that I've read with half breeds don't actually need blood to
Yeah.
survive,
It's
but he
always yeah.
does. And one of the things is like just his parents going through the fact that sometimes he just didn't have access to blood, and when he doesn't drink blood for a long term of time, he goes into like a hibernation basically.
Yeah.
So it is very, very sad,
Yes.
um, in certain points. Uh, I wish I could remember who the actual side characters were in the story, but I really hated them because they were all terrible, terrible, terrible people.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read it, so
Mhm.
it's not quite ringing a bell, but it's making me wanna reread it because I remember enjoying the story.
Yeah, it's same. Like I remember reading, I binged it all in one day. Uh,
I'm
uh,
pretty sure I did too.
because it's just a really good story. When it's heartwarming, it's heartwarming. When it's sad, it's sad. Like it knows how to mix all of that together.
Mhm.
Um, And things really do get better. It's this one it can some of the art is a little scary, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like scary, spooky, like, oh my god, like if you read this, you're gonna be terrified, you'll have nightmares for the rest of your life. No,
Nah.
it's just sad. It's
Mhm.
a little psychological, traumatic.
Trauma.
It has trauma in it, but yeah, 58 episodes are complete. It's really not that bad. It's just the chapters are a little after 58. There's like it's 58's like split up into different parts
Mhm.
for what I remember. But it's still really good. It's one of those that if the trigger warnings don't bother you, I would definitely like
Yeah,
give her a
it's
read.
definitely a good read. I'm about it just talking about it made me wanna reread it, so if that's saying anything.
All right.
Let's see. Um, I really only have one more story,
Mhm.
and it's something I previously talked about in I believe, a video or two ago. It's called The Black Mirror.
Mhm. I remember you about talking about this one.
This one is probably the only one that's like truly like, ooh, like, oh my god, I'm like scared.
Mhm.
Cause if you want to know all about it, you can watch that video. I'm just gonna roughly go through it real quick.
Mhm.
Um, because we did get some updates.
Ooh.
We still don't know anything though.
Oh.
The story's doing a great job at really holding off telling us what's going on.
Who are you?
Who are you?
We still don't know.
We have no clue. but it's like very like haunting. It's very like what's going to happen. Like you see like personality changes.
Okay.
Like our character, damn it, I didn't write the character's name down. I'm gonna skip that. You see character changes and personality changes, and we're getting more into plot, but we're still not answering questions.
Okay.
And I just wanted to tell everyone who maybe had questions from it when I said it before. I just wanted to bring it up again because it is a very good spooky one if you're looking for something that's like actually scary, scary.
Mhm.
So the Black Mirror, it's ongoing. I don't think it's weekly. I think it's bi-weekly.
Okay.
But fact check me on that, yeah, it's on Tappy Tune. Great story. Just wanted to bring it up again. That's all I got.
Follow it. Read it.
Read it. It's so good. The art's beautiful. The story really good, really like enticing. Like you want to know, even though they're not giving you answers, and you could be annoyed. You're still going to stick around because you're just
Is
like,
there
oh,
any more has there been any more, what is it, development in the relationship between the 2 main characters?
yes. So they're getting closer. I think the next chapter we might get some little smutty steam. Um, they're implying it if nothing like spooky happens to stop them. Um,
There's a knock
like
on the door.
a ghost of somebody's dead parents, just like ah.
Hey, none of that here. None of that here. Stop.
Excuse me, I'm trying to do something here. Can you stop?
It's like, "Can
Um,
you leave? Can you be
no,
spooky
but
some other time?"
yeah, their relationship is getting closer. One of his friends, he had friends come over, and they were just like disrespecting his lover,
Hmm.
and he was like, that's why I said personality changes was coming in because he's very character that's like quiet, kind of lets people step on him, just wants to be like the good guy. And he popped off.
It's
He
like,
was like,
"What?"
"No, we're not doing that. Excuse you, excuse you,
We're not talking about my boyfriend like that.
not today. That's
Not
not
today.
happening." Okay, but yeah, like I said, I just wanted to bring that one back up. You can hear me talk more in depth of it, and I will put which video it's
Beautiful.
in.
Alright, so now, uh, I'm moving from most of the stories I read are from Lezen.
Hmm.
But now I'm moving to I don't wanna say, like, smaller creators, but these are, like, not Korean-based stories. These are, from what I believe, are American stories, just
Okay.
out of Asia. I know that much.
Okay.
So this one is from on Webtoons and Tapas. If you want more, like, uncensored, because this one is a gory, uh, scary, spooky,
Mhm.
story. It just doesn't look it. It's called Ghost Eyes.
Mm.
Um, you'll see from the picture, it's not like the typical manhwa style. It's more
Style.
like a
Yeah.
comic. Um, so this one I have been reading for a long time. I think I've been reading it for, if not 1 year, 2 years.
Mm.
I've been following it for a long time. Um, so this one I'm gonna read the summary because there's a lot that happens, and, like, there's so much going in the story. I can't make up my own summary. So, we have Tobias is a boy who's
Mhm.
15, who's been homeschooled his whole life. He was raised in the church, so you
Okay.
already know.
Amen.
He's been raised in a church in the woods with all of his siblings, his useless mother, and his very religious piece of crap father.
Okay.
Obviously this isn't in the summary, but
Sometimes you gotta add your little pizzazz to it, you
yeah,
know? Tell
okay.
them the truth.
Okay, so he is someone he's been abused by his father. He has his brother named Mathis,
Mhm.
um, who has narcolepsy. And I don't know if it's the narcolepsy that makes his parents not go, like, not his mom. His mom, she's just, like I said, useless. She's just there, not
Mhm.
doing much. His dad, like, he doesn't ever hit anyone else but Tobias. Like, if Tobias does anything wrong, he'll hit him. He'll stick him in this closet with all these crosses, and he's just stuck in a dark closet for
Okay,
a
don't
long
like
time.
that.
So now he's a psychotic character. Um, he has, like, these demons inside of him that, like, will pop out of nowhere and do, like, weird stuff. very overly like just they're terrible demons. Um so now that he's not homeschooled, he's going to public school. He doesn't know how to interact with the general public because he's
Okay.
never left his house. So he's awkward, he's really weird, and then he
Mhm.
meets our second main character, Rudy. And this is where I'm gonna put in the trigger warnings. There's bullying, homophobic slurs, self-harm, and
Mhm.
I am very like self-harm is a very big part of the story. So
Mhm.
if anything like that is triggering, I would suggest not to read it.
Mhm.
No, no, no. But yeah, Rudy, he's like this he's like that character where he makes himself very seem really nice, hyperactive.
Yeah.
He's like I would say someone that is what is it? He'll wear whatever he wants. So he'll wear stuff that will make him look kind of girly and just make him look,
Mhm.
fabulous. He dresses very well.
Fabulous.
But in reality he's been bullied. Uh
Yeah.
he hurts himself and then he also watches not the films that where people get killed and murdered.
Thrillers?
Not thrillers. They're like actual people. Like there's a specific word.
Oh, like that,
Snuff films. He watches snuff films.
okay.
And he gets off of snuff films. Like I said, this story is very, very like it's very dark. Like it doesn't look like it from the artwork, but it is
Yeah, it
so
looks very
incredibly
like
dark.
you're about to get like a little happy, wholesome story, and now with this description, I'm like, "Oh my
It
god."
is horrifying, horrific. There's a ton of characters in the story,
Mhm.
but Tobias is the main character. Rudy's one of the
Mhm.
main characters. So they meet, and then Tobias is starting to learn how to have a friend.
Mm.
And now I put in some of the spoiler alerts. Um, Tobias doesn't know how to have friends, so he also has these demons. He doesn't know how to like deal with his emotions, and
Mhm.
sometimes when he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions, he'll take it out on Rudy in like a
Oh.
very verbal, mean way. But sometimes he's trying to help Rudy, but Rudy also doesn't know how to like accept help. There's a lot. They're two broken people, and sometimes it's like the stories like when two broken
Yeah.
people meet, they fix each other, and that's the feeling that they were giving you until recently Tobias had like a really bad psychotic episode and he
Mhm.
almost killed Rudy on Halloween.
Mm.
So now Rudy's like, we can't be friends. Like it's just me and you together. We just keep messing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so they're no longer friends. It's Tobias is he doesn't realize that what he did was wrong because when he was doing it at the time, to him, Rudy did something bad because Rudy they were going in on each other's like traumas. So it's
Yeah.
just like, well, at least I'm not like I let myself get bullied
It's
by
like
this
that TikTok
guy.
trend where it's just like
Roast your friends, but
like
like
roasting your friends, but
roasting your
getting too a
friends.
little too close to home.
Oh yeah, no, they hit way too close because then like Rudy was like, well, at least my dad isn't some psychotic weirdo that beats me every night. It's just
Like
like,
it's the daddy
whoa.
issues for me.
Yeah. And Tobias is just like, I'm sorry, what was that? I don't like,
Excuse me.
he it's just yeah. And this was like one of those nights that Tobias had to ask his dad, can I please go out? And his dad almost said no, but then his mom talked to his dad for once not being useless. And he gets to go out and this
Not being
happens.
useless. Hold on, she's not useless for once.
And so now Tobias is just like, if I had just never went out, if I never tried to get friends, maybe things because it took him so long to say Rudy's someone special to me. Rudy is
Mhm.
my friend. Rudy's it's more because he like Tobias has never cried and broken down. He broke down in front of Rudy for the first time.
Mhm.
Um it's a lot. A lot happens in the story. And like I said, there's a lot of different characters. And Tobias is just trying to figure things out. And as of recently, the whole like I said, Rudy and Tobias are now no longer on talking terms. Tobias is trying to figure out what I did was it actually wrong? Like
Yeah.
he has to actually try to come up with his emotions, but then again, he also has these demons that are talking to him. It's like, no, you didn't do anything wrong, Tobias.
There is a lot to
Yeah,
this. This
Rudy
sounds
says it's a lot.
a lot.
And it's labeled BL as of right now. There's only been one couple that
Mm.
is a BL couple, two boys that have gone together. Um,
They're side characters?
They're very, very much side characters, like,
Okay.
I don't even know their names, I think I should, but I don't. As of right now, it is it's not complete, like, there's so much that needs to happen in this story, but
Mhm.
the way Webtoons to Tapas is set up, it's at, 463 episodes,
Mhm.
chapters, but a lot of the thing is when they update on Webtoon, it's like they, or Tapas, it's like they're updating, like, a panel or, like, a
Oh,
page
yeah.
chapter. So it's just like they have like as of right now, it's at like part 4. Like that's
Mhm.
where we're at, it's part 4. And then a lot of the updates are just them updating like the
A
what is it?
panel.
The not the panel, but like the cover art of that
Yeah.
chapter, that part.
Mhm.
Or sometimes it's just like updates, Q&As, all that jazz. So
Okay.
it's not actually like 463 chapters. It's just
Yeah.
the amount of pages that goes into it. Some of them are definitely like it's a longer read for some, but it's when I reread it, it didn't take me but like a couple of hours to actually go through it. It's a
Yeah.
really good story. I'm like really surprised that it's that good and
Mhm.
that it's going on strong because there's like a lot of stories that I read and they haven't updated in forever. And that's the
Mhm.
problem with webtoon stories is like a
Yeah.
lot of times they tend to get dropped because they don't make the same funds and these are the ones that you can read for free. You don't have to pay anything. Like they don't even do like with Ghost or Ghost Eyes, they don't even do fast passes where you can pay to read ahead. They don't do any of that. So it's more
Oh.
like if you're reading it, they have Patreons
Yeah.
and that's your way to support them. But these are like this one and then the next one I'm going to be talking about, they're 100% free to read. You don't have
Okay.
to pay to read them.
So make sure you support the artist.
Yes.
Yes. I don't have another story. All
This
right, go
one's
for it.
another one. It's on Webtoons. It's called Blue Echo, and this one it has the same premise as Not the Faint of Heart.
Mhm.
So this one is about a guy named Haru. He's the person a medium. He can talk to ghosts.
Yeah.
But I think they call him like a psychic in the story. But he can talk to ghosts, and he meets this ghost that still doesn't have a name because he does it. I don't think he wants to share what his name is. But
Mhm.
he is a ghost that's stuck at the school, and they signify that because he has this, like, chain around him.
Mm.
So something's keeping him there. It's only so far, it's only 15 chapters. We really haven't gotten into
This main story.
the main story. We don't really know the ghost, why he's really there.
Okay.
The updates are a little, um, irregular right now. I'm hoping that they'll start to pick it up. It is a new
Yeah.
story, and like I said, these are like anything on Webtoon, it's kind of like I'll make when I have time or if I'm making good money off of this.
Yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
it's blown up like I feel like it should be.
Mhm.
So hopefully, like talking about it, more people will go read it, and it'll promote her to write more because this story, from what I'm seeing, it's looking really good. Like, I want to know more. I want to know this guy's
Yeah.
name. I want to know why he's stuck in the school. I want to know if he's actually dead. Are we pulling the whole son again, where he's actually in a coma? You
Mm.
know, I don't really know that much about this story, but it's
Okay.
something I really wanted to talk about because it has the ghost aspect. It's got a little spooky in there.
It's a little spooky. All right. And for our next segment, we are going to talk about Obey Me. Yeah. Oh gosh, can you even consider that spooky? I only put say it because it's technically thriller, which
It's
is
thriller and psychological. It's what it should be.
it's a mess, is what it is.
It's a huge
It's a
maybe it's
mess.
the scariest part of them all when you write a story and you don't I c I don't know the artist, I don't know who created Obey Me.
Mhm.
I don't know what
What they were thinking, where they
what
were
they're thi
going,
I could
their
see
thought process.
what they want I feel like I understand what they wanted to happen, but they
Uh-huh.
just couldn't execute it, and I don't know why. Um,
For y'all who don't know who Obey Me is, or sorry, I messaged you. For those who don't know what Obey Me is, or never read it, never heard of it, it's kind of like It's kind of like one of those joke stories in the community, you know?
Like, you know what it is, it got popular because it was
So
so
bad.
bad that everyone's like, "So did we all collectively read this together because it was bad?" And we
Like,
just wanted to
is any
know.
is anyone here because they genuinely like this story?
You know,
Do you
there's
want to read
actually
this?
some people that do like the story, you know, kudos to you guys, I'm glad you saw what we couldn't. Um,
You can read the synopsis.
alright, so we have this, our main character, Jinwoo, who was kidnapped by, Gyul? Gyul? And he
Okay.
also kidnapped Jiwoo's bully,
Mhm.
Seungtae, and a university student named Hyan, which Hyan is, a little bit of like a that character that was like, "Wow, I can't believe this character was in the story," but also like, "Why was this character in the story?" Like,
Like the character, okay, I love that they had trans representation. I love that that character's
mhm,
trans, a trans woman. There's no like harm to that character. I mean, they're kidnapped, but there's not like any harm to that character. They're not like
mm,
using this character for any kind of like
weird stuff.
story plot. My problem with the character is that the character does not need to be there the character makes no sense being in the story. They never tell
Exactly.
you anything about this character. Why were they kidnapped? Why is she there? Why was she in the room? Who is she?
We don't know anything about her.
Nobody knows anything about her. Where
Yeah,
she came
Hyan,
from, he
she
just kidnapped her just to have her there. And
um,
like, I don't know if this was the writer trying to put in, be inclusive, respect, but can we put it with characters that are in the
makes
like make
sense.
sense in the story?
'Cause I thought he was gonna use her as, like, a way to get Jiwoon, like, riled up, like, "I've killed someone that you actually like."
Exactly.
No,
Nope. Because
nope.
I think reading the story, I was like, oh, she's going to be like maybe somebody from his past where, like, you know, maybe he knew her before transitioning or something like that. And, this is like a first time he's seeing her as, the female that she is today. And nope, he didn't know who the hell she was.
No, so, basically, to get into this story, to get into what I think the plot was,
Mhm.
Jinwoo has lost his memory twice in this story. He has gotten amnesia twice in the story.
Mhm.
So, from what I remember, I can't really remember the thing. The bully that Ji-woon had, Sungtae, they were actually friends at one point, and then Gyul and Jinwoo hooked up. They started hooking up because Jinwoo, I don't know. I think he was bisexual. I he just started hooking up with Gyul. They had this relationship. Someone caught them. The picture got spread of them kissing,
Mhm.
and then Jinwoo was like this. He started getting bullied horrifically, and
Mhm.
Gyul lost his absolute mind. He's like, oh my god, like he doesn't like. He was already crazy to begin with. Um, and then um, it's so hard to remember what actually
It's just like one of those things that felt like a fever dream.
they kept adding too much to it, like, the losing the memory thing, that's fine, but doing it twice
Mhm.
because then you have him that he got this friend who committed suicide,
Mhm.
and then he tried to also commit suicide,
And it just
lost his memory again, didn't realize why he kept one thing that he kept doing was, like, he kept, like, getting off on, like, gay porn, didn't know why that was a thing, he
mm,
was just this he was Jinwoo is, like, one of the most messiest main characters I have ever
yeah.
read about, like, he has no set like, I don't understand him, like, I
I think
don't
the whole story is just a very messy story.
it is
Like
a
it's just
very
if somebody sat down with the artist Had the artist go through it fully, like, I feel like it's one of those stories where when you're writing a story, you have to have your start and you have to have your end.
Mhm.
If you don't know where you're going to end it, you're going to go off on so many convoluted plots. You have to know where you're ending so that when you're writing the story, you know where to go.
Mhm.
That is not one of those cases.
Because the ending also just didn't make any sense because now we have okay, so going back to that friend that I don't remember his name who committed suicide, his brother somehow ended up this is, spoilers.
Oh
uh,
yeah, yeah, you're right. His
he ended up
brother.
going to the warehouse or wherever, Yule had locked up Jinwoo, um, and then they just got into this fight. Gyu ends up getting killed. I'm
Mhm.
positive the brother also ended up getting killed, and then
Yeah.
Jinwoo and Hyoyeon, they just dip and
They're
then
like about to like escape and then it happens to be the same time where like the police are like some kind of people and guards who were looking for them
mhm.
find them in like this like warehouse or something, and it's
Yeah.
just, and then it ends and it comes back, and they're a couple now, and he's like, I'm gonna go to the place where I got kidnapped, and he gets kidnapped again.
I don't remember the ending, I repressed it because I
Yeah,
didn't
he
understand.
he's like he's like living his life. He goes to that convenience store where he gets kidnapped. He's like, what are the odds of it happening twice? And the same thing happens to him where he's like goes unconscious and then it just ends.
And then, to add to the thing, she decides I don't wanna say it's a she because I actually don't know, but the author just adds
Mhm.
this what felt like these were chapters that should have been in the story when she was talking about Jiwoo, Jinwoo, and Gyul.
Mhm.
Like, they should have been in the story, but they
Mhm.
weren't, and I don't know if she had just forgotten to put or the author forgotten to put them in,
Yeah, like
and
they
then
were
she's
in
like,
the
"Oh."
file and they were like, "Oh crap, I forgot to." That's why people didn't like the story. This is
So
going to make so much more sense, you guys. Hold on. Let me put this one out.
it's like, "Look,
And
backstory."
then there's like these extras that are just like I honestly skimmed through them because I was just like, there's nothing you could do to save this story.
Yeah.
So I was just like, what? Why do I have an update for this
S
story?
From what I know, it's just my thing is, like, when it started, everyone was like, "Oh my god, is this gonna be the next Killing Stalking?" Because it
Mm,
had that well, I can't even say it really had that vibe of Killing Stalking because it started off so awkwardly with the kidnapping and then Sungtae being there, and then
mm.
Yule did so many terrible, terrible things. There's
Awful.
so
Just
many
awful.
infamous scenes within the story. There's sushi, we got pens.
Mm, mm.
He forgot to water Sungtae's
Well, he's not. I think he's dying. Why? Well, I haven't given him any water or food.
food
So,
in days. Yeah, and then Sungtae's like, damn, it
and
is
the
what
fact
it
that this is
is.
just days, it felt like it was like months.
It felt years. Like I was just like, my God, they've been stuck. Then his wasn't his dad a part of it too? Like I could have sworn he
Yeah,
heard his
he
dad talk through the vents.
he tricked the dad into signing a paper, uh, thinking it would like I can't even sit here and act like I remember. He tricked the dad into signing a paper for some reason. And so he thought his dad sent him there. The dad thought he was sending him to like a place to get help.
Mhm.
And
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
because they
okay.
made it seem like the dad sent him, oh, like just signed his life away or something like that.
Mhm.
Dad didn't know.
Well, see, now that you are remembering the way the brother ended up going the guy that had committed suicide, his brother ended up going there was because when they found these boxes in this warehouse, there was like a lot of these CDs, and he's like, okay, let me put like a note inside these CDs so then if someone ever
Mm.
opens this box, they'll know where we're at. And
Uh,
why did the boxes get shipped out? I don't know. I don't.
where
I
are we? Is this a real warehouse? What?
Like, I can't remember, maybe he threw the box out the window. I can't remember how, the brother had gone in touch with the box. Ugh,
This
regardless,
story, I only put this in here because it is technically spooky.
it's a thriller, it's supposed to be
It's
psychological.
definitely a funny read because, and not funny because of, I think the author thought it would be funny.
Mhm. It's more like the awkward read where you just kinda, "Ah,
It's
ah."
kind of like the same reason of why you like rewatch Twilight. You know it's a bad movie, but you're gonna rewatch it, aren't you?
I don't think there was ever a time where I ever thought to myself, "Oh, I can go," maybe with a fresh mind, maybe with it now complete, if I go read Oh Baby, maybe I'll catch things that I didn't catch before.
I've never reread it since the first time I read it.
I kept we all everyone in the community, we all read it weekly, you know?
Mm.
All hands
I caught it once it was finished, and I like binged it in one night because I was like, when does it get good? I'm ready for it to get good. Like, when does it get good? I'm ready for it to get good.
How many chapters did it have?
uh that's a good question. There are 39
Thank
chapters
God.
plus two extras.
So 40, yep. Thank God. Keep it that way. Don't change.
Don't add any more.
You
There's
don't need to change. Look, okay, so if the creator ever decided to go back, look at a baby, and they're like, "Yeah, no, this is not what I envisioned. I don't want to be the joke of the community," and remade Oh Baby, fixed everything about it.
Yeah, honestly, like talk to the people who've read it, find out their problems. Oh, excuse me. Find out their problems and address those problems. Don't be one of those people who is like, "Oh, this is probably why they don't like."
And
Find out
then
why people don't like it.
if you remade it, I feel like maybe we could have done better because there is a story, it's called Warehouse, and that is what
Yes.
I think Obey Me wanted to be like. I have not
Yeah, it's
read
very,
Warehouse, though.
when you think about, I've read Warehouse.
Mhm,
It is very, 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 very similar to
mhm,
Warehouse. But it's like where Obey Me failed, Warehouse succeeded.
mhm.
Like Warehouse made me want to keep reading. It made me interested. Like it talked about dark topics. Um, these are very sad characters. It's a very dark topic. I'm surprised I didn't put this on the list. It's probably a good one if you want to read Warehouse.
Mhm.
It involves, like kidnapping of an old lover
Yeah. I
and
read some
holding
of
them
it, just not a
hostage.
lot, because I know that's his thing is he was obsessed with the guy that he had
Hmm.
gotten, and then I don't know where I dropped off at. I read a good chunk of it, it's been so long since I've read it because I think
Mm,
I was trying to get over the ending of Killing Stalking, because there's another one, not Warehouse, it's called, like, something May, where this guy also just kidnaps this guy. It's just like, what is this?
hmm. It's a very popular term.
Kidnap
Yes, but if you were looking for something like that, if you can handle those kinds of topics, because there are some pretty dark topics in there,
Mhm,
I would highly recommend Warehouse. It gets
mhm.
a little confusing. My only beef with Warehouse is that the beginning, like, situation, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, and it's a little triggering, so I don't want to like bother anybody.
Mhm.
Like the beginning plot takes up way too long, and I feel like that's why some people drop off.
That's
But if you
probably
get
why I dropped
past
off.
that, like you have to get past spoiler warning, you have to get past when he gets out of the warehouse. That's when the story like
Oh, okay.
hella picks up. Like you start to get, or like right before that, you start to get a lot of backstory.
Mhm.
Um, you get to know these characters. The main guy, I don't know their names right now. Um, he starts to get his memory. He remembers why this guy kidnapped him. Like you have to get past this one arc that is a little too long, and I feel like that's why people drop it off.
Yeah, because I feel like when I was still reading it, I think I didn't even get to him escaping the warehouse.
Yeah, you have, if you get past that, like that, after that, it gets very like emotional. Like you, it's one of those things which we'll probably talk about with like Killing Stalking, where it's just like you're supposed to still hate this character, but at the same time, you're just like you feel bad for this character. And I don't know why I really like characters like that, where it's like, I hate you, you're awful, you're trash. But I
But
kind of want you to be happy for some reason.
yeah.
I don't know why.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a good read.
Okay. Glad we fixed the obey me. Period. End of story.
Period. Talk about you.
Obey me, yeah. If you want to be horrified by like how bad a story can be written, yeah.
Mhm.
Obey Me is that's the story. And if you like Obey Me, I'm sorry.
You know what? If you like Obey Me, leave in the comments. I want to know why.
Yeah, like
I
why did
truly
you
want
like
to know
Obey
why.
Me?
I'm not judging you. I want to know why.
I just want to know why you liked Obey Me. Like what did you actually like? I just need to know. I feel like that's why like I've made like a TikTok making fun of Obey Me and someone actually put in my comments like, "Oh, baby was not that bad." And I don't know why it didn't
Hmm.
occur to me to be like, "What did you actually like about it?"
I want to know. I'm truly curious.
Mhm. Okay. So now we're coming up to our finale.
Yeah. And while we're on the topic of killing stalking, I think it's time to talk about killing stalking.
I think it's just understand that killing stalking will always be a topic that we bring up because we always talk about killing stalking
it's
because
it's one of the stories that brought our friendship together. We have very long conversations about this story. It is debatably
such
both of our favorite stories up until a certain point.
yes.
Um and understand if we know it's not a BL, it's not considered a BL, but it does have two guys together. So if you don't think it's a BL, okay. And if you don't categorize it as a BL, that's fine. You can skip this part. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But this one is definitely it is one of the first psychological thrillers that I had read.
Mhm.
So if you don't know, which is really like I feel like Killing Stalking is such a well-known story. It really
Mhm.
popped off when it came out, but just in case you don't know what Killing Stalking is about this guy named Yubum who has like fallen in love, gotten this very strong obsession for this guy named Sangwoo, and
Mhm.
Sangwoo
They met in the army.
the army because Sangwoo saved Yubum from one
Mhm.
of the generals, or I can't remember. He had helped Yubum in a way. Yubum got really obsessed with Sangwoo. So now Sangwoo's obsessed with not Sangwoo. Yubum's obsessed with Sangwoo
Yeah.
to the point where he just wants to like be in Sangwoo's house and
Like
sniff his
just be with
underwear.
him.
Yeah, be with him. Sangwoo, and then we have Sangwoo, who's just like he's an amazing guy, like great, like he's
Yeah.
just a good person, very popular, very fit, good looking young man.
Mhm.
Sangwoo, or not Sangwoo, Yubum is like, I'm again to this man's house and stuff. His undies,
Something like that.
yeah,
And then
and
what
Sang,
is so he stalks him, hence the name killing stalking,
hmm
and he spends like hours trying to guess the code to his house.
because he did the little thing where it's like,
Where it
oh,
shows the buttons you hit the most, you just got to figure out the code of those
mhm,
numbers. And he gets into the house and he's going through his stuff and he's trying to hide. So he goes into the basement because Sangwoo comes home. So he's trying to hide and he goes to the basement trying to hide. And what does he find? A dead body.
was she dead? I thought she was still alive when he went down there.
I thought the first one was dead.
I can't
Was
remember.
she?
I feel like she was alive and she was trying to ask for help, and that's what got Sangwoo to come
You're
downstairs.
right. You're right. Because,
Mhm.
yes, you're right. It's been a while. I've reread it
Yeah.
a few times, but it has been a while.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it's just, I remember reading that for the first time because I was like, because I thought this was just going to be like,
Bum and his weird obsession living in his
yeah,
house.
I thought we were just really going to focus on Bum and his weird issues and this guy being like, why are you like they fall in love and then he finds out that he's a stalker and then that's what their problems are.
Yeah.
Lord and behold,
Sangwoo
that
is
was
a
not the story.
mass he is a serial killer. He's a psychopath. Sangwoo
He's a
is
crazy
crazy.
man.
This
Crazy.
is where all the memes come in the basement. You bum's like, "Hey, can I go? Like, I don't have to be here. I can leave."
And he's like, no, I'm gonna break your ankles.
Well, he was like, "Yeah, sure. Head upstairs."
Go ahead. No, go. You can make it, right?
Yeets Yubum down the stairs and breaks his
Yeet
ankles.
him down the stairs.
And
And
that's
like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
as I was saying, this is where the story begins. This is all like
On
within the first chapter.
this is like maybe chapter two.
Mhm.
Because I remember like the door thing took a while, but like this is like very early into the story. Like I said, like we're always seeing Sangwoo as a good guy. We always thought he was like this popular dude that
He does no
weak
wrong.
this weakling like fell for and becomes obsessed with.
Well, I think mainly it's because, like, we started off with the point of view of Yubum, like, we're only seeing
Yeah,
things through Yubum's
most definitely.
perspective. Um, so how is this a good story you mean? Like, how does this get better?
If you're a fan of
So
psychological, you have
yes.
to be a fan of psychological. It because I've talked to people who they're not a fan of psychological. They don't understand the hype of the story. They don't like it. They don't love it at
Mhm.
all. They hate it. If you like psychological, this is probably something that is going to appeal to you most definitely.
Yes, because it's just like you start to get to know Yubam and Sengu, why they are the way that they are. This is
Mhm.
like we don't really wanna get into it because we want to have an episode that is solely dedicated
Based.
to just talking about killing stalking, why we
Yes.
liked it, why we think it's popular, theories that we have, and then as many people know, season the final couple of chapters of Killing Stalking were
Mhm.
not it.
It
Something
wasn't.
happened, and the ending was not what everyone was anticipating.
Yeah.
Um
And we have theories and alternate endings. So that's something we want to go over, but we definitely think it is a again, if you like psychological, you like stuff that like messes. I love a story that like you're supposed to hate this character. Like
mhm,
there's nothing redeeming you're supposed to like about this character. This character is awful. I'm talking about Sang-woo.
mhm. But I
He's
think it's like even
Boom
I
Boom has his downfalls too, but I feel like
yes.
he is still someone you can root for. But I love a story where you hate this character, you should not like this character, but for some reason you're rooting for them. For some reason. I love
Yeah.
those kinds of stories.
Because it's like you said, it's just like Sangu should be this guy that's irredeemable. I think it's like people make it you have to like one thing that I'll always say is you have to think if Yubam never went into Sangu's house,
Mhm.
none of this would have ever happened.
He wasn't even thinking about that man.
None of this would have happened.
None of it. And it's like
And I'm not
that's
saying
oh, go ahead.
that Yubam deserved what
Yeah,
happened.
we're not saying he deserved it. It's just saying that's how the story is. He was a stalker and he did walk into that house.
Mhm.
So that's where the plot and also I think people are turned off by it because of some of the fan base and the way that they go after Sangwoo. And
They
also
don't
at
wanna
the
understand him and the things that he's been through because Sangu obviously you have like that's what I like about psychological animes. The
mhm,
characters aren't just crazy. They're not just crazy guy people that just do whatever because they like it.
yeah,
There's there's depth to their characters.
there's
There's
so much
stuff
depth.
that happened to them that made them become the way that they
Because
did.
like once you get like into both of their backstories and into like I also again this is something that if you like psychological, you probably like things that have to do with mental illness in some form or fashion or like why something happens and why your brain works that kind of way
Mhm.
or like what triggering thing happens as a child that affects your development and makes you the person that you are today. Those are something that interests me. So and the fact that it's in the story like that, again,
Mhm.
this is very much a story that's not for everybody, and I feel
There's
like
a lot
some
of
people
triggering
don't
material.
understand that because it's like if you don't like psychological, you won't understand why I'm confused about Sengoku. You don't understand why I love hate him. Okay.
'Cause it just makes you at one point makes you think, "Oh, this" it's the same like psychological same thing with psychologicals that I've thought before.
hmm
If they had just found help, things would have turned out differently.
Exactly.
Everyone just needs therapy, they need a mental asylum, they need to go somewhere. If they had just seeked help,
hmm
it would have turned out a different way,
Or if it's like one of those things where if that awful person from their childhood, if that was handled, better,
Mhm.
that could have changed like a lot. Because I've read that in a lot of stories where it's like a abusive parent or like an abusive friend or abusive relationship. If that person, if somebody found them sooner to help them, that
It
also would have changed the whole
it
story
would
or
have changed
something
the whole
like that.
story.
Because he was a child, so there's not so much children can really do.
Mhm. Exactly. So there's a lot that goes into the story. And then the reason why it's always like the debate of like it's not a yaoi, it's not a BL, but the thing is Sangwoo and Yubum throughout the story have a sexual relationship with one another. Where
Hmm.
but it is a very the relationship with the between those two is very it's not healthy. It's very toxic. It's
Very toxic, yes.
very toxic relationship. But they do have a relationship throughout the story.
Yeah, and the author has said that in the end, Sangwoo did catch feelings.
Mhm.
Not saying that was a good thing or a bad thing. I don't condone that relationship. Like I like it for the story, but if it was like real life, obviously
I'd
I'd
be
be like,
like,
no, 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 no.
no.
But
Even if they seeked help, I would never want them to actively be
yeah,
together again.
but simply because the author said that, that's why I'm always just like, if you're saying that he caught feelings at the end, that means that he caught feelings for a man, and that kind of means it's a BL.
Mhm.
So,
Like, it could have easily been a BL, but it's like like I said, we've talked about this so many times
and we
before
will get more into this about the full episode.
with the full episode of just killing stalking because there's just so much to unpack. But
Hmm.
this one is like, yeah, this one's definitely spooky, psychological. It's a thriller. There's times where you're just like you're just like, "Oh my goodness, like what the heck is happening? Like
Like,
what's gonna
yeah,
happen?"
like luckily for you, it's finished. If you start reading it now,
It is complete.
I was reading this as it was coming out, like since like
The
oh, excuse me, I
beginning.
think I started it when it had only like 5 episodes.
Mhm.
So I've been reading it since the very beginning.
Right.
And I think it took like 2 years to finish, 2 or 3 years to finish. So like the suspense, oh my
Of
god!
every week, and then, like, not even including when the seasons end, and then you're waiting
And then you have to wait for like a
months.
few months, and then go back to weekly or something like that. If it was weekly,
Mhm.
I
I can't wait for the
love
one
that story.
episode. Yeah,
I can't
it's
either.
we could have, like, a 3-hour discussion about this whole story, which is why we want to save it to be one of, like, its own episodes because there's just
Yeah,
so much to talk about.
but at the same time, I felt like it was needed to put into the spooky category.
'Cause it's very
It's
spooky.
very spooky, and I want you to read it. So when we do talk about it, y'all can have a conversation with us.
Mhm. You're right. So, I decided these aren't BLs, but I did wanna have, like, a little bit of, like, these are actual spooky, scary things that you can watch for the spooky
Mhm.
season. I made sure to, like, actually add webtoons, animes, and dramas, but the dramas I have, they're only K-dramas. So, I know one that we have both read or 2 that we have both read, Bastard and
Mhm.
The Uncomfortable Truth.
Mhm.
Uh, both are thrillers, slasher, psychological. Those are very scary. Teases your brain a little bit,
Very good stories.
sends shivers down your spines. It's
Mhm.
those are really good stories to read. And then these 2 are, for webtoon because like I said, I just wanna promote my
Smaller
webtoon
artist.
community, smaller
Mhm.
artists. There's this one called Rebirth. This one has zombies in it. Uh, like, short summarizing, there's just the main character, he has gone through a time period where everyone, including himself, died, so he
Mm.
has to go back and change everything.
Okay.
And then there's this one called, I have a hard time pronouncing this one, Uriah? Um, this one is more of a slasher, like, there's a lot of murder. There's,
Mhm.
also a very big psychological one. There's the main character, Uriah, that's what his name technically is, but that's not his actual name. We don't know who he
Okay.
actually is, but,
Mm.
he wakes up in this, like, the city, it's kind of been, like, abandoned. Something's happening. They haven't really delved into what's been going on. We're getting
Mhm.
more to know about him, who he is as a person, and the people that he's hanging around, but we haven't really gotten into their stories either because they're not even using their real names.
Okay.
So there's a
Okay.
lot. That one's, like, really spooky. These are really actual, like, scary ones. Animes, I have 2 that are actually gory. Final Destination type things, Corpse Party, and Another.
Mhm.
Those are scary. You wanna watch those scary
Spooky.
goers. But then I have this one that I added just to lighten the mood. It's called Welcome to Demon School, Irma-kun. This one,
Mhm.
it came out last fall around Halloween. So it has like that Halloween spooky vibe. Like there's just
Yeah.
like a lot of these demons, monsters. It's nice. It's comedy though. There's nothing actually really bad happening in them. And then K-drama wise, I put obviously Train to Busan as a
As
zombie.
you do. As you do.
I will always promote Train to Busan.
It's such a good movie.
Such a good movie. And then this drama that I watch is on Netflix. It's called Save Me. This one is psychological
Oh, save me.
and has cult stuff in it.
Mhm.
It's more suspenseful, but it's scary in like that psychological sense of like you can't believe people that this is like based off of real things,
Mm.
and you just can't believe that something like this, like cults are actually this crazy. Like you're just
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, those are some
Yeah.
of my recommendations for you guys for
Yeah,
this
and
season.
I have one. It's on Netflix. It's called The Witch. It's a Korean movie. I
Mhm.
think it's like a 3-part series, like movie thing. But the first one came out, and that plot twist. All right, all right.
Ooh.
It's not necessarily like it's a little spooky. Little. It's mostly suspenseful. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? So I highly recommend that one, and it's on
Okay,
Netflix.
very excited. We got a lot of things to recommend here. But yeah, I think that's going to be wrapping up our episode today.
Mm-hmm.
So, putting in our plugs as per usual at the end of our videos. Make sure to follow us on our social medias, which is right as of right now still consists of just Twitter and TikTok. And now we do have our podcast. You can now listen to it on both Spotify and I don't know what the other one
A
is.
few other podcasting sites.
The links will be down below.
The links will be down below. But yes, we are on Spotify now. I'm so happy about that. So if
Mhm.
you want to check that out, the link is below. You can also find the link on our Patreon, which you can follow. The link is below at
Mhm.
BLteatime.
And then, of course, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we
Mm-hmm.
post a new episode, which is always going to be the same times, Mondays at around 3:15.
Mm-hmm.
We are a little sorry about
Last week's
last
episode.
week's episode and it being late. A lot of things that came up. Um, we're going to try
To stick
uh,
with the Monday schedule.
stick with the Monday schedule, but um, things might happen, but we'll be more consistent on like actually updating and stuff like that.
And we'll put more on our social media when videos will be late and stuff like that instead of just not putting it up.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely make sure to follow everything to keep
Hmm.
updated with us. And we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, and remember, sorry, remember to one, go vote, and to stay safe this Halloween.
Oh
If
yes.
you do not need to leave the house, do not leave the house. You can buy the candy at Walmart. Go door to
Stay
door in your
home.
house and trick or treat.
Watch the
If you have young
recommendations that
children,
we gave you guys. Like this is
read the
how we
recommendations,
read,
watch some
watch.
movies, stay home if you can. If you can't and you have to go, to your job or something like that, please stay safe, wear your mask.
Yes.
But
And that's
anyways,
it. I'm glad you put up that point. Please do
hmm
go vote.
go vote.
Go vote. We endorse better the country for us. Come on, guys.
Come on, let's get this popping.
Let's
Let's
get this. Let's make 2021 a good year.
All right. Yes.
All right.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
I'm glad you brought up those points, actually. Alrighty, but we will see you guys next week.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.